Good evening to you and welcome to your evening newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. My name is Joshua Van Slykeman and let's get to the news in details. Just before we get to the news in details, let me remind you that you're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We tell you now that over 100 Guyanese, including university lecturers and students, civil society activists and representatives of organizations that represent communities across the country, have sent a list of detailed questions to the EPA to be answered in the environmental impact assessment for the Yellowtail project. Yellowtail is poised to be the fourth development project in the Stabroek Block by ExxonMobil subsidiary Esso. The question in the public submission cover climate impact, harm to the ocean, the danger of a well-blown-out flaring noise, discharge into the ocean, and whether Esso has the financial resources to carry out Yellowtail and the safety decommissioning of wells when production stops. That should be when production stops. The submission to the EPA reminds that the well blowout by British multinational BP in April 2020 has devastated the Gulf of Mexico, and the cost in the oil company $468 billion US. Meanwhile, ExxonMobil disclosed yesterday that it made another discovery, the 20th to be exact, in the Stabroek Block. The latest find was made at the Longtail 3 well, which encountered 230 feet of net pay, including newly identified high-quality hydrocarbon-bearing reservoirs. It should be noted that ExxonMobil would be able to reap the maximum benefits for its reservoirs from the development of the Longtail 3 discovery, among others, thanks to the loopholes in the PSA covering the Stabroek Block. Kaieteur would have exposed via an extensive study in 2019 that the PSA has some of the world's worst provision when compared to 130 oil deals. For example, the PSA says that the government of today must pay the oil giant income tax out of the country's share of the profits from the Stabroek Block projects. However, none of the 130 PSAs examined by Kaieteur has this type of agreement. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. Meanwhile, President Irfan Ali, during an outreach to Region 6 yesterday, announced that the countrywide flooding situation is now considered a Level 2 disaster. This, according to the head of state, is based on the advice of the Civil Defense Commission. According to the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency's Regional Response Mechanism, a Level 2 event is one when the nation capacity to respond to the overwhelm, but external assistance is required. The affected state may or may not declare disaster. President Ali further said that his government is working on a supplementary provision to take to Parliament for more resources and monies to be available to assist with current disasters and its after effects. A security guard attached to a supermarket located at 13th Street East Bank, Demerara, on Wednesday night shot a single man to his leg when approached with a broken Guinness bottle. The injured man, 22-year-old Flavian James, is reportedly in a critical condition at the GPHC. He was shot to his left leg above the knee. The bullet entered the front of the leg and exited behind the left knee. The security guard, 34-year-old Carlos Polidor, is presently in police custody, assisting with investigation. A police report said that James was jumping in and out of customers' vehicles while they were in the supermarket. Meanwhile, police are in pursuit of the man whose identity they did not release, who reportedly chopped Devon Thomas, a barber, while he was sleeping in his hammock at Blackwater Backdam, Kaieteur River. We were told that Devon and the suspect are well known to each other and they did not have any old grievance before the incident occurred. The 29-year-old barber was attacked in his sleep sometime around 18 hours 30 on Tuesday while in his camp. According to the police, the man was intoxicated at the time when he went to Thomas' camp and chopped him. An investigation into the attack is in progress. Meanwhile, an East Pennington's man who is no stranger to the court was on Wednesday remanded to prison for the murder of Ronald Omar Smith, who was killed during a robbery in Camp Street, Georgetown recently. 43-year-old Alistair Nathan, who was not required to plead to the charge, which alleged that on May 28, 2021, at Camp Street, he murdered Smith, a Trans-Guyana Airways employee, during the course of furtherance of a robbery. Chief Magistrate McLennan remanded the defendant to prison, and he's expected to make his next court appearance on July 6, 2021. Meanwhile, 2 men who tested positive for the novel coronavirus have died. According to the Ministry of Health, the latest fatalities are that of a 58-year-old and a 42-year-old, both from Region 4. Their deaths now move the country's COVID-19 death toll to 419. 149 new COVID-19 cases were recorded, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 18,088. A breakdown of new cases per region shows that Region 4 leads with 44 new cases, Region 9 with 37, Region 3 and 6 with 26 each, Region 5 with 8, Region 10 with 6, and Region 1 with 7. The dashboard also shows that 20 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, 101 persons are in institutional isolation, 1,506 in home isolation, and 1 person is quarantined institutionally. To date, a total of 16,042 recoveries have been recorded. And with that, we've come to the end of your evening newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let me remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I'm Joshua Van Sleckman. Thank you for joining us.